Hey, it's Handyman Derek here. So for today's project, we're going to convert this light fixture from a fluorescent tube with ballasts to a fixture that is a direct wire and uses LED bulbs. Most of the light fixtures around the barn are the traditional fluorescent fixtures that have a ballast in them. And as they've been burning out over the years, I've been replacing them with energy efficient LED bulbs. Although pretty quickly it seemed like those plug-and-play LED bulbs were burning out pretty quickly. And in order to make things easier, I just decided that we're gonna switch them all over to ballast-free or direct wire LED bulbs. Here are all the tools needed for today's project. First and foremost, the LED bulbs, and you need to make sure that they're direct wire or ballast-free or have those words in there somewhere. If you get plug and play LED bulbs, those are the wrong kind. Those are going to get burned out when you plug them in. I have a couple different spools of different color wire. I'm not quite sure how long I'm going to need, so I'm going to bring the whole spool with me. I have a headlamp. Headlamp is very important because the power is going to be off and it might be a little dark up there, so it'll be good to have light. Phillips and slotted screwdrivers, a pair of wire cutters, a pair of wire strippers, needle nose pliers. Not quite sure I'll need that, but it's good to have in case I need to twist some wires. A couple different sizes of wire nuts. Not sure what size I'll need, but it's good to have a couple. A pair of reading glasses because, well, I need them. And then a sticker that I printed out ahead of time that said no ballast, direct wire only. That's a nice courtesy to people in the future who will need to know what kind of bulb to put in that fixture. And then the most important thing, a tool belt. Why is it the most important? Well, you need a place to put your tools, but more importantly, it seems like the people around the barn really like seeing a handyman in a tool belt. So now that we have all our tools and our tool belt, now we're going to go do the most important part of this entire project, and that is to turn off the circuit breaker. And we have to turn off the circuit breaker to ensure that no electricity is flowing while we're working on this, because we have to be safe. So here is the circuit breaker. And this is the circuit. There we go, going to turn it off, close that. Okay, so now the power is off, but I'm just going to double check by coming over to the light switch and just making sure that it is indeed off, nothing is happening. This is for the fans are not turning on. Okay, I am confident that the power is off, so we can now begin work. Okay, so the first thing we do is we use a Phillips screwdriver and take out the two screws holding in the cover. So not all light fixtures are the same, but your light fixture should be close enough. So then you just need to pop this cover off, and you do that just by squeezing kind of the inside. All right, here we go. Okay, so it looks like the way that this fixture is wired is we have two sets of AC coming in, and that's a dedicated one for each ballast. And that's fine for this particular situation, but we don't need all that. So it looks like we have a junction box right here, and I bet that we can find just a single AC lead coming in here. Take that off, and yes indeed, here we go. So we've got two red and two black. Okay, so this is going to be pretty simple. We're just going to disconnect Okay, now that I've got all the wires removed, now it's time to take the ballasts themselves out, and that's easy enough to do. There's just a Phillips screw over on each side of it, and you don't need to have to take the whole thing out, just enough to loosen it. All right, so now what? Well, what we have to do is just join all the blue together to the black incoming power and join the reds together to the white. That will complete the circuit. But the problem here is that we don't have enough blue wire to meet nicely, and we need to make an extension from here anyways. So what I'm going to do is strip these and make a jumper cable to go from there to join these together. And then actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to make 2 black wires, one from those 3 that's going to join up over here, and then another black wire from these 3 that's going to join up here. Oops, one thing I should have done earlier is taken out the old bulbs, just because it makes it a little easier to work with. Got all these bulbs in here. Ooh, these are dusty and dirty. Yikes. Okay, so I think I'm done with the basic wiring now, and it looks like a mess, but it's pretty simple. So the blue lines are the hot, and I put a black jumper on here, and that's coming all the way back to the junction box here where it's netted together. And I've got 2 sets of blue wires, so I've got 2 black jumpers going back to the junction box there. And the red is the neutral, and with here I was able to join all 3 together in one wire nut with just one jumper that goes back to the junction box and connects up to the white. Now I'm just going to neaten this up a little bit before proceeding. So it's summer here in Wisconsin, and it's hot outside, but it's even hotter here in the attic area of the barn. All the hot air rises up here and collects, and I have to swim in it for a while. So I've neatened up the wires a little bit, and what I'm going to do now is put the bulbs in and do a dry test just to make sure that everything works. And if that works, then I'm going to button it back up. Okay, so now with everything all wired up, it should work. And before I button it all up, I'm going to just flip on the breaker to make sure it works. And I'm going to walk back out to the circuit breaker. Switched on. Okay, it didn't trip. That's a good sign. And look at that. It works. So that tells me that I wired everything up correctly, and all 6 bulbs are lit and looking good. Okay, so I'm going to go back and turn off the breaker again and then button it all up. So this is my least favorite part of this project. I don't like having to stuff all these wires in here and trying to not pinch them together or pinch them in the metal in any way. And I wish there was a better way to tuck these in here than just kind of pushing them in. Almost forgot a very important step. Putting the sticker on to let people know that there's no ballasts involved. Direct wire only. Okay, so that should do it. Got it all buttoned up, and all the screws are back in place, all the bulbs are in place. We've tested it. I'm just going to go turn on the breaker one last time and make sure it works. And there we go. The light works. So I'm just going to double check by flipping the switch a couple times. Lights on, lights off. Okay, that works. So I would say that that is another project successfully completed around the barn.